online question aggregator tool is getting questions fast and furious. So I'd ask our presenters to go on camera or at least be ready to go on mic. And I would ask my friend and colleague Amanda Nam if she wants me to coordinate questions, or do you want to do it, or should I just shut up and let you do your job?
I will handle the questions. Thank you very much for introducing everyone. That was too many things to multitask with at the same time, so I appreciate that. Okay, so we'll start off with, I think this one is best answered by Tamara. There's actually two back to back. Are you online? I don't
Tamara
see.
is no longer, I mean,
Tamara
it's
had to
not.
pop off.
Yes.
Okay,
So Sarah
that's
Noble
fine.
will be doing her best Tamara George
Taking
impersonation.
I think there are folks that are online that will be able to answer these questions anyway. If not, we'll provide an answer in written form. If specific landing sites within regions have been identified, are there any plans to share them with the community? Who would like to take that one?
I think Sarah's going to take that.
Yeah,
Sarah.
we unfortunately cannot share those openly with the community while we are still going through our assessment.
Thank you. Then related question, I'm going to direct it to Sarah, but if somebody else wants to answer, please go ahead. Will the lunar science community, non-internal to NASA, be allowed to be involved going forward in the Artemis 3 landing site selection? There's only been one Artemis 3 landing site workshop, then LSSW. Will there be another workshop? If so, when?
No, we're not planning for any additional Artemis 3 workshops. We did have that one a couple of years ago. We now have a team, and so we are relying on our team for those analysis. You heard a little bit from Brett about what her group is doing to look at individual sites and do some geologic assessments. So we have the input we need for that. I would like to remind the community that the most important time for their input is early on, and remember again that there will be a discussion, a workshop later this summer to look at landing site FOMs for the chronology discussion that we had this morning.
Thanks, Sarah. This next one I think is best answered by Juliana, but correct me if I'm wrong. What are the specific sample integrity requirements for the samples that will be returned by Artemis 3? Like temperature, history, magnetic field exposure, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the requirements that we wrote and then are currently going through the Moon to Mars Control Board are helping to maintain the integrity and minimize contamination. And that includes minimization of like volatile contamination during sampling on the surface, for example, from the suit, but also making sure that the return containers have leak rates that help minimize volatile contamination on the way back. We do worry about magnetic contamination, so that is included in that. Material contamination, like metals from the tools, but we're also in that document talking about physical, keeping like physical integration, integrity of the sample, so making sure they're padded, recording the environment that the samples see, like temperature, humidity, air composition, shock. A lot of that will be monitored and documented through the contamination control and contamination knowledge that we're building. So we're building currently a database, and then we will have a CK collection later on to help us address any potential contaminations that we might or might not see.
Thanks,
so that's all in those documents.
Thanks. Okay, Renee, this one's for you. Are arrangements being made to have laser ranging stations collect data from Allure? Similarly, have arrangements been made to process that data?
Yeah. All of our laser retroreflectors currently on the moon and planned for the future are or will become members of the International Laser Ranging Service, which is sort of like a multilateral arm of the International Association of Geodesy, and that's how NASA coordinates with all of the international laser ranging stations ground-based around the Earth. So yeah, these both the NGLR that was recently landed on CLIPS, as well as ALLR, which will land on Artemis, will become sort of a part of that network. And following from that, because this is an existing network and the new retroreflectors are just augmenting that network, there isn't this team, it doesn't have sort of like a funded science team the way that most structured payload teams do. Instead, the data will just become part of the existing stream, the existing archive, and become publicly available for the community to use in the same way that the current station's data do.
Thank you very much, Renee. We have a question for Brett. You've talked about engaging with the community on the STM objectives. Should the community expect any more interaction with those in the future?
Yeah, we definitely got some great input from, I think it was at League where we shared things. I did note that our STM is finalized, but these things kind of always, I think, continue to evolve. So if you do have additional input, feel free to reach out. And we are working with on a publication so that you can have additional details. I don't know the exact timeline for that, but working on it now. And I'll note too, there are a couple of LPSC abstracts. We did include some details on the STM in an LPSC abstract that I led for this year, if you would like to see what is already out there. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Brett. Understandably, oh, sorry, I'll just go ahead with this one and then I'll get to Sarah's questions at the end. Noah, is there anything that the community can do to help with Artemis 3, given your point about how quickly things are moving? Like getting the word out to the public or any other things that are creative?
Yeah, I mean, getting people excited is it's one thing for the 277 of us who are on this call right now to be pumped about it, and that's great. But I want all of our neighbors and our coworkers and our family members to be excited as well and pushing the world to make this happen, right? It's one thing for the science community to do it. It's another for the community writ large to do it. So every opportunity you have to get out in the public to talk about the excitement of lunar exploration and the future of lunar exploration, which is, very real and happening right now. I would appreciate that support, because the more we get the public behind us, the better, I think. The other is to communicate within the community, to publish your papers, to apply for the opportunities, to apply for the participating scientist program. We'll hear a little bit about when Amanda asked Sarah the question. Push us to do better as well. Come to these workshops, push us to do more and to do better and to share more. And lastly is to, again, take out your telescope to your neighbors, look at the full moon and get your friends around you. All of my parents on my kids' soccer teams know that whenever the moon is out, I'm going to tell them to look up and start pointing things out. I'm that dad, and I embrace that. And I think we should all embrace our inner lunatic to get other people excited, because honestly, if people aren't excited about it, why are we doing this? So, take every opportunity. Get pins and buttons and things. If we can help you, if you have an event, you want Artemis swag, let me know and I will send that to you so that we can get people pumped about this. I do not want to go through this exercise with people saying, what, Artem, what, right? We got to get people excited about this. And I know there's a lot happening in the world right now that people are not excited about, but this is something we can all rally behind, I hope. And so if you've got something you can do or want to do, let me know. We've got a team here at Goddard, other NASA centers, all the folks on this who are behind this. Let us get a team of colleagues around the world excited about this, because this is something we can all participate in. I'm lucky. Patty's lucky. All of us on camera right here are very lucky. But we're bringing everybody along with us. This is like Artemis 2 patch says. This is for all. And so the more we can get everybody behind us, the better. I want young kids waking up whenever this mission is flying and watching, dragging their parents in front of the TV, because they will remember where they are when this is happening. And 50 years from now, those kids will be in LSSW 355 arguing about the results of this mission. There you go.
So long as I'm not moderating those sessions. All right, we'll close this session with just asking Sarah to talk a little bit more about the participating scientist call, since understandably we have a lot of people who are really interested in that. So there's two questions. What kind of participating scientists do you expect to add to the team, and will the call emphasize early career participation in any way?
As I've said a couple of times today, I think we do have this call. We are trying to get it out as soon as we are able to. And so there's a lot I can't say about the call until it's out on the street. You'll have to wait until it gets out on the street. But I think we're all excited, and Brett noted that she's excited to get some folks, some additional help onto the team. We have a lot of stuff to do, and we need more bodies to do it. So I think we're all looking forward to getting some additional participating scientists on board to help us with all the fun things we've got going on. Traditionally, participating scientist programs have sort of helped out early career folks. That if you look across our participating scientist programs, they do tend to be a lot of early career folks. They tend to bring the age of an individual mission down just a little bit, which which is good and appropriate and supposed to be. We are not planning to put any restrictions or particular emphasis in the call, specifically looking for or against anybody of any career stage. But we certainly keep that in mind, as we are going through these calls. And if you are early career, I absolutely encourage you to submit to those calls and participate. We can only select people who apply. So we will see what we get when we apply, but there is not any intention to specifically call out any particular group.
All right, thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you to all the speakers in this session.